all I want to see this morning is the question that Kohelet begins with and how he answers that question in the first 11 verses. Okay? The question he begins with and then how he answers that question in the first 11 verses. Question is this: what does man profit? Or what does man gain? I think both those words are helpful. That's why I put them both. What does man profit? What does man gain by all the toil at which he toils under the sun? That's the question. What does man profit? What does man gain by all the toil at which he toils under the sun? And then he goes into this beautiful poetry. And he says, a generation comes and a generation goes. Generations just keep cycling, each having a relatively very short significance. Think about in your own generations. Do you know the name of your great-grandfather? Just a few generations previous? How about his father? What do you know about him? He lived likely 70 years. Do you know about those years? Do you know about how he spent them? Your own family, your own bloodline? 70 years of a man just a few generations before you. 25,000 days that he lived. 25,000 days. 25,000 24-hour periods. He lived pressing, toiling, striving, anxious. For what? You to have never known his name? You, the one in his family just a couple of generations later, to not know the toil and the striving that he did, all the actions that he did, all the work that he put in, all the time that he spent, all the effort that he gave, all the sacrificing that he did, all the selflessness that he did. Just a couple of generations later, it's all dead. And the message here is that's going to be you actually as well. Quickly after you die, you will go into the ground, and all that you are, all that you've done, all that you're working on now, all of your striving, all that you accomplished drifts off in the air as if it never was. And then there will be a new generation rise up, anxiously toiling for the hevel for which you toiled, only for the generation after them to forget their names and not know their works. Generations go, generations come, nothing new, nothing changing, nothing different, nothing lasting. He goes on and says, the sun rises, and then the sun sets. Having seemingly not accomplished anything, it then just returns to do that again. It rises and then it goes down and then it goes back to the place where it will rise again. Nothing new, nothing different, nothing lasting. The wind, he then says, blows to the south from the north and then goes around to the north just to start again and do it again. And it has been doing that from the beginning, and it will keep doing that until the end. Side note, round earth, by the way, in Ecclesiastes. But nothing new, nothing novel, nothing different, everything the same, every day, from all eternity past, from all creation past, until the end of the future. The rivers, he says, all run to the sea, and yet the sea never gets full, right? We aren't waiting for the time when finally all the rivers will fill up the ocean. They run to the ocean, and then somehow, despite all the rivers running down to the sea constantly, they never run dry, and the water just returns to the place, to the riverhead at which they began, and all over again it starts. Nothing new, nothing different, nothing changing, nothing lasting. He says the eye has never seen enough. How beautiful is that? The eye never has enough seeing. Right? This is a common one today. People will say things like, you have to travel. Life's about traveling. Really? Or I want to go on great vacations. I want to see the world. Great. Then what? What about after you've seen it all? Because it won't be enough. right? You're not going to come to a point where you say, okay, I've had enough seeing. The eye never sees enough. The ear, he says, never has enough hearing. It's never satisfied with the amount of hearing it has done. You never hear enough, right? I want to hear the best music. I want to go to the best concerts. I want to hear the smartest people talk. I want to be part of the biggest crowds. I want to experience it all. Great. Then what? There won't be enough. Right? Before the movie The Greatest Showman was ever comprehended, Kohelet sings, never enough. Never enough. Before, one of my favorite movies of all time, by the way, throwback to old, beautiful Disney. Before Lion King was ever comprehended, Kohelet sings the opening line of that movie. From the day we arrive on the planet and blinking step into the sun, there's more to be seen than can ever be seen. More to do than can ever be done. There's far too much to take in here. More to find than can ever be found. But the sun rolling high through the sapphire sky keeps great and small on the endless round. The circle of life. You had no idea that Lion King was from Ecclesiastes.